Yes,
Al.
sir.
G'day. I was just curious if you were offered a part now, what genre would that part be if it was an ideal one for you? And if particularly any sort of character that you'd prefer to play? I'm curious.
Porn? I would prefer to play the male.
What is that, sort of animal porn? You'd be lucky.
The girl would be lucky.
Yeah, they would. John's done some porn, actually, on True Blood, I understand. That's what I've heard.
Softcore. If anybody watches True Blood, they've seen more of me than anyone ever ought to.
Balls to the wall, I'm told. Apparently he was given one of those socks to put on, and he went,
Ah, to hell with that.
hell with that, and his wife went, John, darling, it's not for you.
It was too small. They make those socks too small. What's your answer to that question?
My mum always wanted me, because I've always played, you know, it's ne'er-do-wells. I mean, Malcolm Reed was the closest I got, thank God, before she passed away. But she was always bemoaning the fact, you know, when are you going to get in a nice Noel Coward play? Something my friends can watch. And it never happened, unfortunately. So, but I wouldn't mind. I used to say when we were, you know, sweating our TITS off and running around on Star Trek, oh, put me in a nice suit and a good legal show. Let me just stand there and say lots of legal jargon. And Scott looked at me and said, oh, you'd be bored out of your mind in 2 weeks. So, hey.
At this point in my life, honestly, I'm not actually looking for work as an actor. I'm very concentrated on doing some graphic art and photography and some sculpture and wire sculpture. And so what I'm mostly working in right now is a cartoon series. I'm doing 3 different cartoon series at the moment, and it's the perfect kind of work. It leaves me a lot of flexibility. It's why I was able to come here. And so I'm very grateful for that work. And
Oh, we got to go. The flight's leaving.
bye. Thank you so much. It was great. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I play a German character on one. I play a dog catcher on another, and I play some sort of horrible, villainous scientist on another one. And it's a lot of fun. You get to exercise your chops without having to get into makeup and have your hair done and have to sit around all day. You go in, you do it, and you leave, and I'm loving that.
So Star Trek constitutes a whole family of shows, and each of you, we've got representatives from 2 different shows up there, but if you could have gone on to one which you weren't a main actor on, which one would you like to be a part of? For each of you.
Probably the original show, in some respect. You know, that's the one I grew up with as a kid, and, you know, was transfixed by. So, yeah, I would certainly say the original show. And I guess, you know, as a child, a young child, I always associated myself with Kirk and all his chiffon-clad ladies. My first foray into erotica.
That was your first foray into erotica?
Oh, I was only 6, mate.
Really? Wow.
I'd only just started smoking.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I was a jaded veteran of erotica by that age. I'd probably actually, I'd rather partial of a Next Generation. I think I would have liked to have been on that show if I had a choice. But no particular character. On my own show, I would have liked to have been the dog. I think that, I know your second favorite character. That dog had an even cushier work week than I did.
And there were 2 of them. Let's not forget.
Yeah, there were 2 of them, that's right.
The work week was, it was split.
Yeah.
I remember coming back for season 2 and seeing one of them trotting back to the trailer, and God, it was bigger than mine, and he just sniffed and looked at me and went, oh, they had you back again.
That was the captain, I think. You know,
I think Dominic's answer is the one I would go with, the original, because that's the one where I wasn't quite as young as Dominic, but when I first encountered it. But what I intuited, even at a young age, was that it was in that show that you got to do something that was not realistic, and that always appealed to me. It had to have an element of truth in it, but it wasn't realistic, and I didn't become an actor to be realistic. I wanted to do things that were larger than life, and that afforded it a kind of opening of the imaginary.
You're not going to be doing Dancing with the Stars then?
Yes, Dancing with the Stars, right. So, yeah, I'd go with the first one.
A question for Rene. I've seen your name appearing on the credits of early Hanna-Barbera cartoons like Scooby-Doo. Can you recall to tell us about some?
I feel like I've answered this question. Then I realized that I think you and I had a conversation about this at lunch yesterday. Yeah, so this is boring. You can leave if you want.
I'll let you know when it's time. Trust me, I'll let you know.
I know you will. I know he will. Now, when my wife and I first moved to Los Angeles, and I was working at a theater there in Los Angeles, the casting director of that theater was a man named Gordon Hunt, happened to be Helen Hunt's father. He was the casting director, and he moved on to become the voice director at Hanna-Barbera, and he gave me my first break into working in animated voiceover work, which is actually a surprisingly difficult field to break into. It's very competitive, and there are many people who are much more facile than I am, but I got a chance to do that. And so for a number of years, until Hanna-Barbera no longer existed, I had steady work. And I guess I've seen on IMDb, I've seen a list of, and I think it's only partial, of all the cartoon voices I've done I'm old here, and I've done a lot of different voices, and many of them I can't even remember having done them. I would go in on it, my agent would call and say, they want you over at Hanna-Barbera at 10 o'clock. I would go in, they would hand me a script. It would be a Scottish policeman, or it would be a French chef, or it would be an Italian, or it would be just an old man or a young man, whatever. And
dog-catching German's my favorite.
Yeah, dog. Yeah, right. And so that was a big break for me, and I still, will get a check every once in a while for 50 cents or something for some Smurfs cartoon that I did a voice in that I have no memory of, but that's that.
Clean up.
Question?